Johnny had Anthrax, he had Overkill, he had Raven, he had Manowar, he had all these pretty heavy bands for the time. And I said to Johnny, I said, John, this is all great, but if you want me to give you my 2 cents, I think we should get some bands that can actually get on the radio a little bit. And he said, what do you have in mind? And I said, well, there's a guy out there who nobody has seen, nobody's heard about, but he was in one of the biggest bands in the world, Ace Frehley. And Johnny Z was never a Kiss fan. So he said to me, I don't know anything about Kiss. I said, John, I know that Ace is in the newspapers every day for driving his car the wrong way against traffic, driving off cliffs, you know, all kinds of crazy shit, dead in the gutter somewhere. But I think if we could get this guy on track and we can find him, there's a huge base of people out there that would love to hear Ace Frehley again and see him again.
Yeah.
So he said, good luck, see if you can find him, see what you can do. So I tracked down Ace. Now, ironically, my first ever concert in my life was Kiss at the Garden in '77. So here I am, less than 10 years later, and I'm working for a record label and I'm trying to find the former lead guitarist of the band. Finally, we track down Ace through the producer, Eddie Kramer. We go and we have a lunch, and before you know it, I'm sitting there and I'm signing Ace Frehley as my first signing to a record deal. It was a completely surreal experience, and if you have my first book, there's a picture in the book of me in a little blazer at a lawyer's office with Ace Frehley, who typically, as he's always goofing around, has some sort of toy gun in his hand, and myself and Johnny and his wife Marcia, and that's the signing photo of Ace Frehley. It was unbelievable to me. It's like, whoa, this is actually happening. And to this day, Ace and I are great friends, and we've been through some crazy times, man. I mean, all the stories you heard about Ace back in the day are totally true. He was out of his mind. I could give you 3 hours just on Ace stories. But I'm really happy for him because he just celebrated being sober for 9 years. And he wouldn't be here if he didn't turn that page. So regardless of what the other clowns, his former bandmates, say, Ace has never been more sober and together, and I'm really proud of him for that. We're still great friends. So I did a lot of stuff with Ace. I signed a bunch of other bands, and I'm working for the label and doing all these things. And I later went on to work in artist management. I worked for the management company that handled White Lion, that handled Overkill, handled a band called Taiketo. We had a bunch of bands. We had 6 bands on 6 different labels. And it was a great time in the early 90s. You know, the music business was still thriving. So I did management, I did all this other stuff behind the scenes. Still doing my radio show. And then the game changer comes when I find out that I can take my radio show and get it on in New York City. Now, doing radio in New Jersey is great, but it's a smaller market. It doesn't have the same reach. Even though I only lived 35 miles from New York, radio stations in New York are market number 1. They're the biggest market in America. That's where anybody wants to get to if you're in media. One day, I put a demo tape in, and I sent it into a radio station back in 1994 that had just gone on the air called Q104, and to my surprise, they called me up, and like that, I'm doing radio in New York. Now, as soon as I made the move into New York, everything changed, because suddenly I was making enough money that I could focus just on radio. Most people that do radio in small markets have a part-time job. You can't make enough money doing it. But all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, now I'm broadcasting to 3 states, I'm on in the #1 market, and people are liking what I'm doing. I'm going to leave the business stuff to the side, and I'm going to chase being this radio guy. So that was the real game changer. And from there, my radio show became syndicated and it went out to other markets. And again, that's still the show that exists to this day. I get a call in 2002 from an old friend of mine at MTV. And he says, hey, there's this new channel coming on the air. It's called VH1 Classic. He said, I never heard of VH1 Classic. What the hell is that? He said, new channel, they're going to show music videos again, old stuff, classic stuff. Do you want to audition? Because he was a fan of my radio show. I said, yeah, I mean, I don't exactly look like Brad Pitt, but I think I could do TV. And he said, yeah, man, he goes, go and do some auditions. They want VJs and hosts. They're going to hire 1 male, 1 female host. So I go in and there's like 40 people at the audition. And it was all just sitting on a stool and talking to a camera and reading copy and introducing videos. And I did this audition process, went on for no joke, like 6 months. Come in, go back, called in, go back. This one we're actually gonna air. And then finally, they said to me in late 2002, you got the job. You're gonna be one of our male hosts. Thank you. Thank you. And I was like, wow. I'm on TV. How the hell did this happen, you know? It happened because I was doing something different on the radio that was standing out. People knew I was this music junkie, and they thought that I would be good at it. It was really tough working for VH1 Classic back then. I don't know how many of you guys saw the early stuff I did before that metal show. The channel wasn't as popular, it wasn't as available as it is now, and they would make me do things that were very, very strict. They told me how to dress, they told me how to talk, they told me how to act. They also told me I had to introduce and interview every kind of music. Not just rock, not just metal. I did hip hop, I did R&B, I did alternative, I did everything. I hosted a show called Hangin' With, which was an interview series. Interviewed everybody from Robert Plant in England to Dick Cavett to Gloria Gaynor to John Mellencamp, you name it, I did it all. And it was great, it was a great experience. I was really happy to do all these kinds of music. But deep down inside of me, I kept saying, man, if I could just do a show the way I want to do it, talk the way I want to talk, be myself, it would be awesome. Every time I asked, they said no. Then, in 2007, the channel went through some changes and they called me up and they said, let's talk about this idea you want to do with this show. And I was still kind of like trying to save, I'd given up on trying to do the new show. I was still trying to save my job at the old version of the station. I thought that they would want me to do any sort of music like they had so I could be more versatile. But they were like, no, we want you to actually do more of a metal thing. We want to hear your ideas. Now, I was really concerned about that because one of the last things I did at the old channel that was metal was the only interview I've done in TV in 13 years that to this day has never, ever aired. And the reason why is because it was with Zakk Wylde. And Zakk was hammered out of his fucking mind. Let me tell you something. I just mentioned Ace a little while ago. Nobody hit it as hard as Zakk Wylde in his drinking days. Nobody. I would do radio interviews with that guy, and I'd be looking across the console at his head, and 5 minutes later I would see his feet literally in the air because he was passed out. One time I looked across the console, he was taking a piss in the garbage pail in the middle of the studio. I said, Zakk, the bathroom door is 5 feet away. Why are you doing that? And he just looked at me and goes, too far, bro, too far. Now I go back with Zakk before he was even Zakk. His real name is Jeff, and he's from New Jersey. And I knew him before he was even an Aussie. So we have great times when we get together, and he used to get so hammered. So one of the last interviews I did was 2006. He shows up 3 hours early. He was supposed to come in for his interview at 6 o'clock. He showed up at 3 in New York. Like, Zakk, what are you doing here? He never went to bed from the night before. This is how he introduced himself. We had no idea he was coming this early. I'm in the studio, and I'm introducing videos. Now remember, I had to do all kinds of music back then, right? This is what I'm doing at the time Zakk walks in. I'm in my little button-down shirt, I've got my makeup on for TV, and I'm going, hey, it's Eddie Trunk, you're on VH1 Classic. Everybody get ready, the great new video from Mariah Carey's coming up. Here's Dream Lover. And with that, the door kicks open, and Zakk just comes stomping in right into the shot, right into the set. Father Trunk, what the fuck are you doing with this Mariah Carey shit? What the fuck happened to your balls, bro? Like, Zakk, what are you doing here, man? You're not supposed to be here yet. Go no, leave. This is my job. Get out of here. Why are you here? Come on, bro, let's knock it out. I go, we're not knocking anything out. You gotta go. Come back. My producers were petrified. They had never seen anything like this beast of a man. The lead producer that worked with me was a very small gay man. And he was very, very nervous around the barbarian Zakk Wylde. And I'm in there doing this, and I never forget the minute I knew and felt I was going to be fired from that job, is Zakk is sitting there arguing with me about Mariah Carey Dream Lover, and my producer comes up and he goes, excuse me, Mr. Wylde, can you step over here, can we talk for a second? And Zakk just looks down at him and goes, you better step the fuck back, son. Oh my God, I'm so fired. And I'm like, Zakk, just leave. Please come back in 3 hours, please. All right, bro, I'll see you in a few. He leaves. Bad move, because he goes and gets more drunk. Now he comes back at this right time of 6 o'clock, bang, literally like a six-pack under his arm, and starts rearranging the set. And now everybody's on guard, everybody's freaking out, everybody's completely paranoid. But we have to try to get this interview. And I didn't want to laugh too hard, even though I was dying because I knew I could be fired just by association. So I'm trying to keep a straight face, but I'm also laughing my ass off inside. And this is how the first clip went with Zakk of the interview. I'm like, all right, Zakk, come on, man, stand right here, bro. Be good for me, all right? We got to do this. Let's just get through this, okay? My little friend producer comes in. All right, Eddie, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, Eddie Trunk here on VH1 Classic, and I'm hanging with my good friend Zakk Wylde. He's got a new album out called Mafia. Zakk, tell me about the new record. I look across at Zakk, and literally this is what I see. And he leans in, he's burping and shit, farting, I swear to God. And he leans in and he looks at me and he goes, you want to talk about my new album, Mafia, Father Trunk? I want to talk about your beautiful black label ass. Cut, 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 cut! I had producers running in from corners I didn't even know I had. What the fuck is going on here? Zakk, what are you doing? Please, Mr. Wylde, please, let's answer the questions. We can't talk like that on the channel. Same thing. You all better step the fuck back right now. I'm hanging with my man Ed. I'm like, no, you can't do this to me, Zakk, please. So I go, Zakk, really, we gotta do this for real. Please, man, this is my gig, because I'm gonna lose it. I can't even look at you without laughing, but please just do this. All right, bro, come on, we're gonna get through it. Come on, we're gonna make this a good one. Here we go again. Hey, it's Eddie Trunk here on VH1 Classic, hanging with Zakk Wylde. Zakk, I love the first song on your new album, Mafia, called Fire It Up. Tell me about Fire It Up. Same thing, I look across. Gets about an inch from my face, he just looks at me and goes, you want to ask me about Fire It Up? And what I want to ask you is, how long have you been fucking my wife? Cut, 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 cut. It went on, and I went, what, you're out of your mind? What are you doing to me? Come on, bro, let's go knock back some beers. Fuck this shit, this is gay. Like, you're killing me, man. This went on and on. So they sent him away. And I gathered my stuff and just got out of there myself. Zakk had a van waiting downstairs, stocked with beer. He grabs me, come on bro, we're probably fired anyway, let's get in the van and go drink. And we get in this van and we go to McSorley's in the city and we drank all night. I never saw anything like it. I was drinking my sorrows away because I was convinced I was fired. So the next day I get a call from my producer. I'm like, oh, here it comes. He goes, listen, I understand you were in a tough spot there. I know he's a friend of yours, but I just need to tell you, we have instituted a lifetime ban against Zakk Wylde on VH1. He will never be on the channel again. His name will never be uttered, and we will never show any of his videos ever again. Now this was back in 2007. As you can see, the ban has been reversed because he's been on that metal show about 5 times. But let me tell you, it was touch and go there for a while to get him back through. That interview exists. It's way crazier than I'm even telling you. And all that video exists. And not too long ago, a friend of mine got fired from the channel, and the one thing he made his way out with was a copy of that tape. So maybe I'm gonna come back here in like a year or something here at Fuzion. We'll drop the screen and we'll just do a whole dissection of it. Because you gotta see it to believe it. I'm not doing it justice. So I was shocked anyway. I was shocked in 2008 when VH1 said to me, let's talk about this metal show idea you have an idea for. Let's discuss this. I'm like, all right, here we go. So I went in, I sat down with them, I said, listen, you guys were doing all that stuff. That wasn't really me. That's not how I talk. You were writing the words for me. Let me just sit down and do a show like I do on the radio, on TV. Let me have people on that I want to have on. Let me have a live audience, and let me do my thing. And they said, okay, listen, this rock talk show you want to do, we like the idea, we may want to give it a shot, but we don't want you to be the only host. Do you have anybody? We want some people that could bust balls and stir the pot a little bit. Do you know anybody like that? Gee, let me think for about half a second.